Imagine not being Leeds, not feeling this pain, not dancing through thunder, not walking through rain. Imagine not rising with fists in the air when the world turned its back and no one would care. We've lived in the ashes, we've drowned in defeat, but still we stand proud on our battered old feet. Imagine not loving with all that you are. Imagine not being Leeds.
We love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds.
All I want to do is do it. Big go, big go. We do love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. As you know, no matter what, through thick and thin, the ups and downs, together forever until that world stops going round. Painful though, very painful that today. So yeah, hello everybody, welcome back to Imagine Not Being Leeds. I did an instant match reaction. I thought I would do a bit of a cool down a few hours later. Watch a bit of TV, had a bit of food, had a few hours with kids before I went to bed. I feel a little bit better, a little bit, not much, but I'm a bit calmer now anyway. So I thought I'd try something a little bit different and do a bit of a cool down chat. Now, the heat at the moment sort of died down a little bit. Look at twatting that, I'll take that off. Not looking absolute tool. But yeah, so Burnley 2, Leeds 0 at Turf Moor. I've seen a lot of comments. I've had a lot of comments on my reaction video. Some extremely bad, Farke out level, which I think's only natural for sections of the fan base when we have a humiliating defeat, 2 defeats on the bounce too. I'm not there yet. I can always see every side, though I'm quite level-headed in that respect. I can see why people are pissed off. I've also seen comments of, you know, let's calm down. Sunderland lost to Burnley, and they're doing really well, obviously. But I don't really give a shit that somebody else who we may deem around us, worse than us, better than us, whatever we deem another side, like Sunderland, you know, whatever they did, I couldn't really give a shit, to be fair. I care what Leeds United do. The fact that we've gone there today, and yeah, we battered them in terms of stats. In terms of stats, we've absolutely battered them. Let me get this up. Got stats here. You'll have probably all seen them, but yes, obviously 2-0. I mean, you look at that there. Expected goals, they scored 2, and it's 0.45. We scored none, and it's 2.63. XG, whether you're an XG merchant or not, I mean, I don't really care for stats. The only one I care about is the full-time result. But look at the shots there, 19 shots, only 4 on target. Very poor efficiency in front of goal. Big chances, 4 huge chances for Leeds United and 4 all missed. Accurate passes again, we passed them off Park. High percentage, plenty of passes. We had all the ball, plenty of corners. It's we hit the woodwork once. Bogle could have done better as well for one of his chances. What keeper got down to, he could have done better with that. I just think when you look there, you know, you look at every stat there. I mean, it's just sometimes you get these games a handful of times a season where the stats lie. Like, there's just, you cannot believe that those stats are, you know, are right when Leeds United lose a game, and they lose a game by 2 goals. It's not even a 1-0. Sometimes you get a shit hours where you're 1-0 against you, and you look at the stats, how's that happened? They scored 2. Those stats, and there's 2 goals in it. It's like I say, it's really hard to take. Really, really hard to take. I think the first goal, I said on my reaction, I think Jack Harrison should do better. I think he should get out and close down Kyle Walker and stop the ball coming in the box. I was probably not as harsh on Pascal Struijk for not doing the same and getting out for that second goal and closing him down. I do feel there should have been a midfielder occupying that space for that second goal. So I'll probably give Pascal a little bit more leniency on that. But yeah, he sort of backs off, he holds off, and you know, it is a worldie of a strike that Darlow can do not about. I kind of think the danger at that point probably doesn't seem as high as the risk of not getting out to Walker, knowing full well that Walker's going to deliver the ball into that box, and it's probably going to be a decent delivery because it's Kyle Walker, England legend, won all the honours at City. Chances are he's going to put a decent delivery in box. So that bothered me more. And then he's got a free header in between two defenders. I think he was Stack's man. I think Stack's let him go. I thought Stack were very poor today. Very poor. The worst performance I've seen him in a Leeds shirt. And I probably would look at bringing him out for West Ham, which I didn't think I'd say. I thought he'd step up in this game. But yeah, like I said on the thumbnail, 3 games to save Farke's job. It seems over the top. But you know me on this channel, I'll always just talk about what I'm seeing now and the likelihood and my sort of projection for the coming weeks. And with a goal up against Bournemouth and everything's sound, and you concede that last minute goal, hard to take. Tottenham, we get beat. I went at the game, hard to take, but still in a good spot at this point. 1 point out of them 2 games. It's what I sort of thought we'd get. I didn't think we'd get much more than that. Almost had 3 against Bournemouth, so it was disappointing, but the effort, the performance against Tottenham, I were really pleased with. I can take defeats on the chin. It happens in football, especially as a newly promoted team, but it's the manner sometimes, and I didn't think the manner of the defeat to Tottenham were too bad and too hard to take. So, we go again, and this one, people will say the manner were all right. I've seen people say we played well, blah, blah, blah. I don't think we did play well. We had a lot of the ball, but they scored fairly early on, and they let us have the ball to a degree, let Leeds play in front of us. They were quite comfortable out of possession for me. Our final ball were poor. I think we could have played that game till Wednesday. I still don't think we scored a goal. It's a difficult balancing act mentally because Farke can only play the cards he's dealt. Been dealt a few hammer blows with injuries this season. I kind of looked at the only options he had for a 4-3-3 was Aronson and Harrison, and I did think we'd struggle to create with them two massively. And I've been a big fan about Aronson this season. Harrison's done well off the bench, but I just did not see them starting and being able to create much. I said it'd be a 2-1 win for Leeds, probably more in hope than actual. Definitely going with my heart rather than my head on that one. I said on Late Night Leeds last night, and I mentioned that in my reaction, that Brink 3-5-2 should have been the way forward for this game, and it's not even a hindsight sort of situation. I just genuinely think it was fairly obvious that if you haven't got the quality of winger to maybe make it work for this game with the personnel you've got, you've sort of been funneled into a position really where probably the best players available to you suit a different system, and that would have been a 3-5-2. We'd be all potentially in there with Pascal and Rodon, and maybe Pirro up top next to DCL. That would have been a good option for me. And then you get Goodmanson and Bogle higher up the pitch, and you let them be creative forces down the side. Because I thought Gabby Goodmanson were probably the only player I think leaves you a bit of credit. I mean, if I was scoring, I'd probably give Goodmanson a 7 out of 10, which would have been the highest rated I would have given anyone. I thought he did well, maybe 7.5. I thought Goodmanson were really good today. And I think he had to be to try and get us up the pitch. We're working with Jack Harrison on the left. I think he did okay. But yeah, when you look at the next 3, so the position we're in now, back-to-back defeats. We've got 3 games to come, 2 away from home, 1 at home. The West Ham game at home, my only hope for that really is they have an off day. They're tired because they play on Monday. So Monday and Friday, not ideal for West Ham at all. So we've got an extra 2 days rest, which could be crucial. I'm clutching at straws a little bit, but if Paqueta turns up, if Bowen turns up, if numerous other players turn up and perform to their capabilities, there's every chance we lose that game too. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to back us to win it. I've got to think that way. But people saying that Burnley wasn't a must-win, I'm sure they've got to be looking at West Ham as a must-win. You can't just keep saying it's not a must-win, or we move on if we're losing to sides that are currently below us. If we lose to West Ham, you best believe Farke's job's on the line. I sort of look at it now and think, I mean, this staff get here. I'm going to Brighton away, and I aren't hopeful of getting anything at Brighton away. I were hopeful of Burnley. I were hopeful of West Ham. Very hopeful of Forest. Forest is an outlier. They've got good players. If they turn up, it'll be a tough game away at their place. With a new manager, it could go one or two ways. So it's a bit of a suck it and see at the minute. It's Forest, but it's still a winnable game on paper. 100% it is. All of a sudden now losing to Burnley. If we lose to West Ham, which could happen, we then go to Brighton, which, let's be fair, that is the one out of these four that most fans, surely we're on the same page here when I say most fans would suggest that's the game we get no points. I'll always be hopeful going up a game, unless you're playing a European giant, which there's a few in this division, then I'll always be hopeful we can do something. But if we lose to West Ham on Friday, if then we lose to Brighton, and then you got a Forest away, I don't see a situation where I can see a situation now. I can see it. Don't think it happens. I think we can get a result against West Ham and Forest. But I could see it that we lose the next couple before Forest. And then we go into Forest with, he's got to win to save his job. And this isn't what I want to happen. I've been up and down with Farke since he's been here. I quite like what he's done so far this season. This result's a tough one to take on, to give Farke stick for. Yeah, the formation. But let's be fair, it's a bit drastic change in formation for me. We're always going to put Harrison on that left-hand side. It was the easiest thing for him to do with the littlest amount of change when it just a personnel tweak. With the injuries, it's a difficult one to really point fingers at him. He made subs on 65. Is that too late? Probably not. You know, the argument he could have made subs at half time. 65 wasn't too late. Who did really have on bench? He sort of tried to make. I don't really want to point the finger at Farke for this, but what I'll say is if he loses to West Ham, regardless of whose fault that is, if he loses at Brighton, regardless of whose fault it is, you can't sack the squad. If we lose the next two, that'd be 4 on the bounce. By that point, we will be in the bottom 3 with an away game at Forest, with an international break again to come, which is the ideal time to make a managerial change. It's like a mini pre-season to a degree. I'm not advocating for this to happen. I hope it doesn't happen. But I'd love to know what people's thoughts are regarding the next 3 now. We talk about games in clusters and stages. We had 4 games. I wanted 7 points out of 4 games. I would have been happy with 6. 2 wins, 2 losses. 1 loss down. Can we win 2 out of the next 3? I still believe there's 2 winnable games in there. Only 2 winnable games. I don't think we get anything against Brighton. And like I say, I put my money where my mouth is in terms of I'll be going to the game, which is a long way to go when you don't fancy chances. But the West Ham game for me now is a must win. And is it a must win for Leeds' survival hopes? Yes. It's probably more a must win for Farke though, because Farke's, we're Leeds United. We're here till we're no longer alive. You know what I mean? We're here for life, aren't we? Farke's Leeds United's sort of career, short term, sort of wise, it's in jeopardy now, rightly or wrongly. And I'm not advocating for sacking the manager. I'm just putting the discussion out there of if we were to lose another couple, he's right. He's there, innit? He's on the cusp. And I don't know who would be better. I don't go in. I ain't bothered about who's out there. I'm not asked at all. It's just a bit of a talking point, something that's on my mind now. And say Leeds United's season isn't defined in these next 2 or 3 games. It's not. There's plenty more points still on the table. But Farke's Leeds career could be defined in these next few weeks. It could be the international break, like I say, is perfect timing for any club, and scary timing for a manager who's under the cosh. But I think, people say we played well today. People saying we were the better team today. Of course we were the better team. Look at the stats. But the best team in a football match doesn't always win. And this isn't a game for me. If this is away at Man City or Liverpool, you can take a 2-0 with a great performance. Happy days and move on. Not against Burnley. We can't keep normalising, or we can't start normalising results like this. For a side to stay up, losing away to Burnley isn't a normal result. And I know Sunderland's done it, and they're on decent points return. But that should, look what Burnley are doing. Burnley are beaten at home. They're beaten. The both sides have come up with. Fair play. Fair play. I don't want this trend now to set in with Leeds United where the games we should be winning, we're going to start dropping points in it. But it'll be all right, though, because we'll get points in games we shouldn't get points in. Will we, though? We've got a horrendous December. We talk about Sunderland again, mention them again there. Talk about them again with the AFCON. Oh, they've got a tough month for AFCON. Have you seen our December? Horrendous month. You know, we've got a month very similar to the month where Bielsa got sacked. Big hitter after big hitter after big hitter, all in one month. These are this cluster of 4 for me, and a couple prior. Well, let's bank us points now. Let's bank us points because it's coming is that month where potentially we don't get noted for a multitude of weeks. We have to be stockpiling points in this kind of game. This is why I kind of felt it was a bit of a must win. Not really for now, but look at December. We're going to end up being in a position where we have to go get points at some of the big boys because we've lost points at the smaller ones. And that's sort of my worry. So I'm a lot more chilled now. I just thought I'd come on and have a bit of a chat about that and get your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know if you think Farke's maybe 2 or 3 weeks away from potentially losing his job. Can we turn it around? How do we turn it around, most importantly? What needs to change? Because of personnel, he's only got what he's got. We can argue till bloody we blew in face about, you know, recruitment and they didn't do enough. We know this. We know we're missing star quality up top. We know this. It's not new to us. But what can we do? What can Farke do? Or are his days numbered? Because after West Ham, that Brighton game, that could be 4 losses in bounce if we don't get West Ham right. So for me, Friday is a must win. For Leeds, for Farke, for everyone, because it's going to start snowballing in a very negative way. I'll try and remain positive. I'll do obviously a few videos and streams through a week leading up to Friday night. I still think we can win on Friday. Really interested to see how West Ham go on Monday. See how they perform, see how they're looking ahead of our game on Friday. But yeah, bit of a shit day as a Leeds fan. But yeah, please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on everything I've spoke about. Please take care. Please do me a solid. Please like the video. And if you're watching this and you've not subscribed, do me even more of a solid, please, and subscribe. YouTube's been shit lately. I really appreciate the support of any likes and subscribe you don't mind dropping. Thanks so much, guys. We'll try and stay positive. We do love you, Leeds, and all that. And we'll go again. We'll live to fight another day. Take care. Have a great Sunday. Tomorrow, rest of your weekend. Enjoy it. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.